I never trusted mirrors. Not after what happened in that old Victorian house on Elm Street. They say reflections don't lie, but mine did. It smiled when I didn't. It moved when I stood still. And one night, it reached out and pulled me in. That was the beginning of the end, or maybe just the start of something worse. It all began with a housewarming party gone wrong. My girlfriend Sarah had inherited the place from her eccentric great aunt, who'd lived there alone for decades until she died under mysterious circumstances. The official report said natural causes, but whispers in town spoke of her screaming at shadows in her final days. Sarah laughed it off as small-town gossip. It's a fixer-upper with character, she'd said, eyes sparkling as she unpacked boxes in the dusty living room. I wasn't so sure. The house creaked like it was alive, and the air always felt heavy, laced with the faint scent of lavender and decay. We invited friends over that first weekend, Mark and his wife Lena, plus a couple of others from work. The plan was simple: pizza, beer, ghost stories around the antique fireplace. Sarah loved that stuff. She'd even set up a Ouija board as a joke. Auntie Edith would approve, she teased, placing it on the coffee table amid flickering candles. The house was massive, 3 stories of faded grandeur with warped floorboards and wallpaper peeling like old skin. The main attraction, though, was the master bedroom upstairs, a cavernous space dominated by a full-length mirror framed in ornate gold, its surface spotted with age but oddly clear in the center. Sarah said her aunt had cherished it, claiming it was a family heirloom from the 1800s. I avoided looking at it. Something about the way it caught the light made my reflection seem off, distant, like I was watching myself from afar. As the night wore on, drinks flowed, and the stories got darker. Mark, ever the showman, regaled us with tales of the house's history. Did you know this place was built on an old burial ground? He said, leaning forward with a grin. Native American site, disturbed during construction. Auntie Edith was obsessed with it. Kept journals about visitors in the mirrors. Sarah rolled her eyes. You're full of it, Mark. Those journals are just ramblings from her lonely years. Lena shivered, hugging her knees. Let's not mess with the Ouija. Bad vibes. Of course we did anyway, Sarah insisted, and soon we were all gathered around the board, fingers lightly on the planchette. Candles danced, casting long shadows that twisted across the walls. We asked silly questions at first. Does anyone like pineapple on pizza? The planchette jerked to no, and we laughed. Then Mark got serious. Is there anyone here with us? The planchette slid slowly to yes. The room fell quiet. The draft whispered through the cracks, extinguishing a candle. Sarah's hand trembled beside mine. Who are you? I asked, my voice steadier than I felt. It spelled out Edith. We exchanged glances. And Edith, Sarah whispered. Y-E-S. What do you want? The planchette moved faster now, scraping across the board. Look in the mirror. Lena pulled her hand away. Nope, I'm out. But Sarah was hooked, her curiosity overriding fear. Come on, guys. It's probably one of you pushing it. Mark stood up, beer in hand. Let's check it out. The mirror in the bedroom, right? I wanted to say no, call it a night, but the group momentum carried us upstairs. The stairs groaned under our weight, each step echoing like a warning. The master bedroom was colder than the rest of the house, the air thick and still. The mirror stood against the far wall, reflecting us in its glassy depths. 5 figures huddled in the doorway, faces pale in the moonlight filtering through lace curtains. See anything? Mark joked, stepping closer. His reflection mimicked him perfectly, but I swear the background in the mirror looked different, darker, with shapes lurking in the corners. Sarah approached next, touching the frame. Aunt Edith, if you're here, show us. Nothing at first. Then in the reflection, a faint outline appeared behind her. A woman in a high-collared dress, face obscured by shadow. Did you see that? I gasped. Sarah spun around. See what? It was gone. My heart raced. There was someone behind you. The others crowded in, peering into the glass. Lena whispered a prayer under her breath. Mark, bold as ever, pressed his palm against the surface. Cold as ice. That's when it happened. The mirror rippled, like water disturbed by a stone. Mark's reflection grinned, his real face twisted in confusion. What the? His hand sank in, not against the glass, but into it, disappearing up to the wrist. He yelped, trying to pull back, but something yanked him forward. His shoulder vanished, then his head, his screams muffled as if underwater. We stared in horror. Lena screamed, grabbing his legs. Pull him out! Sarah and I joined, tugging with all our strength. For a moment he budged, his arm reappearing, slick with some viscous fluid. But then a force, strong, insistent, dragged him deeper. His body folded impossibly, contorting as he was sucked through. The last thing I saw was his shoe kicking futilely before it too disappeared. The mirror stilled, surface smooth again. Our reflection stared back, wide-eyed and trembling. Mark was gone. Panic erupted. Lena bolted for the door, but it slammed shut, lock clicking. Sarah pounded on it, sobbing. Mark! Oh God, Mark! I turned back to the mirror. In its depths, a faint image flickered. Mark pounding on the other side, mouth open in a silent scream. Behind him, shadows moved, coalescing into figures, dozens of them, pale and hungry. We have to break it! I shouted, grabbing a nearby lamp and swinging it at the glass. It shattered with a deafening crack, shards exploding outward. Blood welled on my hands from cuts, but the frame remained intact. The broken pieces on the floor reflecting fragmented horrors, eyes watching from each sliver. The door unlocked with a click. He fled downstairs, dialing 911 as we ran. Police arrived within minutes, flashlights sweeping the house. They found no sign of Mark, no body, no blood except mine. The mirror was whole again, not a crack in sight. He chalked it up to a prank or hallucination, maybe spiked drinks. People don't vanish into mirrors, the lead officer said, eyeing us suspiciously. But we knew the truth. Mark was trapped in there, in whatever twisted world lay beyond the glass. The party ended in tears and accusations. Lena left town the next day, vowing never to return. Sarah and I tried to soldier on, covering the mirror with a sheet, avoiding the bedroom. But the house changed after that. Reflections everywhere became unreliable. In windows, in polished silverware, even in puddles after rain. I'd catch glimpses of Mark, waving desperately, or worse, shadowy figures reaching out. Sarah started sleepwalking. I'd find her standing before the covered mirror, whispering to it. Aunt Edith says he's fine, she'd murmur when I shook her awake. He just needs company. I begged her to sell the house, but she refused. It's family, she said, her eyes distant. We can't abandon them. One night I couldn't take it anymore. I crept upstairs with a hammer, determined to destroy the thing for good. The sheet had fallen away, and the mirror gleamed in the dark. My reflection stared back, but it wasn't alone. Sarah stood beside it, smiling serenely, though the real Sarah was downstairs asleep. Number. She was in the mirror too now? I whirled around. The room was empty, but in the glass she reached for my reflected self. Don't, I whispered. My reflection ignored me, taking her hand. They turned and walked deeper into the mirrored room, fading into shadow. Fury surged. I raised the hammer and froze. The glass rippled again, and a hand emerged, pale, feminine. Aunt Edith's. I knew instinctively. It grabbed my wrist, cold as death, pulling me forward. I resisted, dropping the hammer, but the pull was inexorable. My fingers touched the surface, liquid, yielding, and sank in. The world inverted. Cold rushed over me, like plunging into icy water. Sounds muffled, colors desaturated. I tumbled through, landing on hard floorboards that mirrored the bedroom but felt wrong, damp, rotting. I stood disoriented. The room was identical but decayed. Wallpaper hanging in strips, furniture covered in dust sheets that moved slightly, as if breathing, and the mirror, now a window back to the real world, showed my empty bedroom. Sarah, I called, voice echoing strangely. Laughter answered, faint and mocking. I followed it down a hallway that stretched longer than it should, doors lining both sides. Each one opened to rooms filled with people. Trapped souls, I realized. They sat motionless, staring at their own reflections in smaller mirrors, faces etched with eternal despair. In one room, Mark huddled in a corner, rocking back and forth. It's the echoes, he muttered when he saw me. Steal your face, wear it like a mask. What echoes? I demanded. He pointed to the shadows. Them, the ones who were buried here. They live in the reflections, hungry for life. A shape detached from the wall, translucent figure, featureless except for glowing eyes. It lunged and I ran, slamming the door behind me. Deeper into the house I went, the architecture twisting, stairs leading nowhere, walls closing in. Sarah's voice called from ahead, pleading, "Help me!" I burst into a grand hall, mirrors everywhere, floor to ceiling, creating infinite regressions. In each, versions of myself stared back, some screaming, some laughing maniacally. At the center stood Sarah, or what looked like her, but her eyes were wrong, milky, vacant. "Join us," he said, voice layered with others. Wasn't her, an echo wearing her form. The real Sarah appeared in one mirror, pounding on the glass from the other side. "I'm here! Break it!" Which mirror? They all shifted, reflections lying. The echo lunged, fingers elongating into claws. I dodged, grabbing a shard of broken glass from the floor. Wait, when had it broken? The world here didn't follow rules. I stabbed at the echo, and it shrieked, dissolving into smoke. More came, pouring from the mirrors like ink. "Break the original," Mark's voice echoed from somewhere. The original, big mirror. I raced back, shadows nipping at my heels. The room was swarming now, figures clawing at me, tearing clothes, drawing blood. I reached the mirror window. On the other side, the real world beckoned, my bedroom. Safe and solid. With all my strength, I hurled myself at it. Glass shattered? No, the barrier gave way, and I tumbled through, back into warmth and light. Gasping on the floor, cuts stinging, I looked up. The mirror was cracked now, spiderwebbing from edge to edge. Sarah, the real one, rushed in, helping me up. "What happened? You were gone for hours." Hours? It felt like minutes. We smashed the frame to pieces that night, burned the shards in the backyard. The house felt lighter after, creaks silenced, mirrors lie. Weeks later, settled in a new apartment, I caught my reflection in the bathroom glass. It smiled when I didn't. In the background, a faint outline. Aunt Edith waving. I smashed that one too, but they're everywhere. Store windows, car rear views, even phone screens. Last night, I woke to scratching. In the dark, my reflection in the window watched me sleep. It's waiting. They all are. are. The echoes need faces to wear, and mine fits perfectly. We thought destroying the mirror would end it, but it only spread the curse. Shards scattered, each a portal. Friends started vanishing. Lena first, pulled into her vanity mirror during a makeup session. Her husband found only a note etched in frost. Look closer. Then others in town reported odd reflections, loved ones appearing where they shouldn't, beckoning. Sarah changed too. She'd stare into puddles, whispering, "They're lonely," she'd say. I researched frantically. The house's history ran deeper. A 19th century spiritualist had built it, using mirrors as gateways to the spirit world. The burial ground beneath fueled it, angry spirits mimicking the living to escape their limbo. But knowledge didn't help. One evening, Sarah stood before our new wall mirror, hand pressed to the glass. "And Edith wants us back." I pulled her away, but her reflection stayed, smiling independently. That night, as I lay awake, mirrors in the house hummed. A low vibration, like tuning forks. Shadows gathered in the corners of my vision. I grabbed a bat, smashing every reflective surface. TV screens, windows, even the toaster. Glass rained down, cutting my feet. The humming grew louder. Sarah woke, eyes glowing faintly. Why fight? It's peaceful there. She wasn't Sarah anymore. An echo. It grabbed me, strength unnatural, dragging me toward the shattered window, still reflective in fragments. I fought, bat swinging, connecting with her skull. She crumpled, blood pooling. Horror froze me. What had I done? But as I knelt, her body dissolved into smoke, leaving only a whisper. "See you soon." The real Sarah? Still trapped, perhaps. Or maybe I'd killed her echo, freeing something worse. Now, alone in a motel with no mirrors, I've covered them all with tape. I write this, but my laptop screen reflects my face, and in it, eyes not mine blink back. The hook was the party. The end is this. I'm typing, but my reflection isn't. It's reaching out. If you find this, shatter your mirrors. Don't look too long, because once they have your face, you're just an echo waiting to be worn. I feel the pull now. Cold fingers on my shoulder. Bye, or is it hello? Screen ripples.